Corinne. So, thank you for sitting down and doing this interview with me. Just as a little bit of background, the problem that I've been addressing throughout this entrepreneurship course in this semester is a lack of awareness and familiarity of UF students with mental wellness and mental health services provided
Mhm.
by the University of Florida. So,
Mhm.
I've begun to address this problem through designing an ambassador program for the Counseling and Wellness Center. And during this interview, I'll specifically be asking you questions about your interactions with ambassador programs across the University of Florida campus from your unique student perspective. So these questions
Okay.
will involve how you evaluate both the usefulness and the effectiveness of ambassador organizations like preview staff, campus diplomats, the sister-owns and more specialized programs like the Innovation Academy ambassadors or like the honors
Mhm.
ambassadors. So to begin, can you please introduce yourself, including your name, major, academic program, and involvement at the University of Florida?
Yeah. My name is Corinne Walters. I am an Innovation Academy sophomore at the University of Florida. I study anthropology as a major, and I'm getting a minor in innovation. Um, I am on the executive board for the undergraduate Florida Anthropology Student Association. Yeah, and I study bioanthro.
Awesome. And you're in the Innovation Academy, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. So, my first real question here about ambassador organizations is, as a student, especially during your freshman year, did you encounter any student ambassador programs such as preview staff, campus diplomats, or Innovation Academy ambassadors? And could you just elaborate a little bit on these experiences?
Um, well, yeah, I've never actually been in any of these ambassador programs, but I have had like a lot of experience with like dealing with people that are in the programs, especially like with IA ambassadors when I first came here. And I think this is probably like before I was a student, like a proper UF student. Like I was attending um,
Was it
the IA.
Discover?
I was attending IA like like preview kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the preview staffers, but like I was attending like the study abroad sessions, that kind of thing, to learn more about like what IA could offer me during fall. Um, and I remember a lot of like the Innovation Academy ambassadors were like super helpful with I guess like helping me kind of like figure out what I want to do during fall, and like that was like my first glimpse of like the Innovation Academy ambassadors. And then like throughout uh throughout like my freshman year and the courses and the events that I had to go to for the Innovation Academy, like the IA ambassadors were always kind of the ones like leading certain speaker events and like group events and stuff like that. And so like they're yeah, like I guess like my experience has always been like pretty positive with IA ambassadors. And then with like preview staffers, um, obviously we all had our own like preview staffer in our own groups for um, when we were freshmen, like before we came in. And I remember because I was in IA, like we had very small groups, and like so my preview staffer was like really nice, and like the preview staffers were like extremely charismatic, and like they did such a great job at like presenting UF to us, and like they were extremely helpful, extremely positive. And so like that was like a really great program for freshmen, like to like before freshmen even get to like campus, like to have somebody who will be there to like answer the questions, who is another student, who's gone through the freshman experience, who is showing them around campus, who's helping them with their schedules and everything, and looking at things like that. I remember the IA preview staffers were actually super, super helpful with like me, like helping me trying to figure out like what credits I had, like what credits I brought in from high school, and what credits like I needed for my major and the track I should go on. And so it was a really great experience in that aspect. Like
Mhm.
um So like that kind of program was really great. And again, with like the IA ambassadors, like the events that they put on and like how helpful they've been, like with me exploring like the Innovation Academy. That was also kind of like a helpful program in certain aspects.
Awesome. Okay, so obviously, like ambassador organizations are really prevalent on the U of campus. So, how do you as a student decide if the services provided by an ambassador organization are useful to you?
I guess like it really depends like what kind of like if you're really going to be involved with what that ambassador group is trying to like I guess like help,
represent.
like help, yeah, like represent or something like that. Like campus diplomats, there's a lot. They cover a lot on campus. They like represent a lot of like communities on campus and a lot of different branches. IA ambassadors represents the Innovation Academy, like just things like that. So I really like previous staffers. They're for the freshmen. So it's going to be a positive experience for freshmen because it's geared towards them. It's geared towards specific groups. It's geared towards them and their families and incoming freshmen and possible applicants and that kind of thing. So it's like that. I guess like it depends on like what group their program is like trying to help or trying to incorporate. I guess like, and obviously IA ambassadors is for IA freshmen and IA students and possible IA applicants and that kind of thing. So it's like, and then then you have like your programs or your ambassadors like the campus diplomats, which cover pretty much the entire campus. So they have all of the University of Florida under their belt, and then you have like these more specific groups like IA ambassadors, which cover only a certain amount of students. Yeah.
Right, because they're really specialized.
Yeah.
So, one of the topics that we're kind of asked to discuss during these interviews are methods of payment for a service or product that addresses kind of the same problem that we're trying to solve with our service or project. But student organizations like the student ambassador organizations are usually like free services provided by the university to help better student life. But have you ever encountered like an ambassador organization for students that required payment for their services, or in your experience, are they mostly just free?
I've never actually come across any type of ambassador program where they required some form of payment. Generally, those kinds of programs are free, especially if they're student programs. Yeah.
Okay, so overall, it kind of seems, just from like my own research and experiences, that what's really required of accessing these services provided by on-campus ambassador organizations is like your time, basically. So how do you decide what ambassador organizations to spend your time with if you need guidance about something in student life?
I guess it depends on like what I'm doing and like how busy I am and like what I'm really focusing on that month or that semester. If I'm trying to figure out like how to schedule my Innovation Academy courses, or like what's the best track for me to go into the next semester, like how do I plan that with my anthropology major and like things like that. Like then I would go to like IA ambassadors, or if I'm trying to figure out like what kind of like internships are available for me on campus in Gainesville and Florida, that kind of thing. Any like volunteer positions, anyone who can help me with certain IA courses, like anything that like really has to do with my Innovation Academy minor. Those like if I need it right then and there, or like if I need it like if I'm focusing on that rather than like my courses that week, then I'll seek an ambassador or someone with the ambassadors to answer my questions or to help me with that.
Right. So, the problem that I'm trying to address with the new product or service, as I kind of mentioned earlier, is the lack of awareness and familiarity with mental wellness and mental health services provided for students by the University of Florida. So, if an ambassador program were to be created to help make students more familiar with the Counseling and Wellness Center and stuff like You Matter, We Care. How would you evaluate whether it was a worthwhile program, or like what kind of skills or services would these ambassadors need to have in order for you to recognize it as like an effective program?
Well, I think that they'd have to have some sort of like experience helping people, like volunteering, somewhere, I don't know, like in the psychiatric hospital, in the health and wellness center, at the electro crisis hotline, places like that. They'd have to have like formal experience already dealing with mental health. They would have to be upperclassmen, you know, like maybe juniors and seniors, possibly sophomores. Like I guess like once they get their experience done throughout their freshman year or their sophomore year, something like that. Like yeah, like I feel like if there were to be a program, like the most important thing is experience with mental health, and especially experience with dealing with other students with mental health.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's all the questions that I really had for you. I just wanted to thank you for sitting down and doing this interview with me. And have a great day.